Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and today I want to talk about mood. I'm not sure when you're watching this, but when I'm recording this, we're entering into the fall, which is a wonderful season for a lot of reasons, but can also be really challenging because as the days get shorter and the nights get longer and everything is getting colder and the leaves are falling from the trees, again, depending on where you're watching this from, and we move into the fall and the winter, moods can go down too. And so if you're someone who at this time of year pretty consistently experiences a change in mood or a decrease in mood, or maybe you are not sleeping as well as you normally would, or maybe you're sleeping too much but your energy is really low, or maybe your appetite is kind of all over the place, you might be experiencing this seasonal change in mood. And so today I want to talk a little bit about that and most importantly, what you can do to prevent it and to get on top of it now. So I'm sure you've heard of seasonal affective disorder. This is exactly as it sounds, also known as SAD. This is when moods change with the season. And it's not uncommon for moods to change with the season, but in SAD in particular, what happens is moods tend to go low during the fall and the winter and tend to pick up again in the spring and summer. So if this is a pattern that you've seen for yourself over the years, it's very possible that you have SAD. SAD is actually not that uncommon. About 10 to 20% of people experience symptoms of SAD. And if you've ever been diagnosed with any sort of depression, your chances of experiencing symptoms of SAD or seasonal changes in your mood are much higher. Maybe you notice some of these symptoms coming up every year as the seasons change. So I mentioned earlier, maybe you're not sleeping as well, or maybe you're sleeping too much. Maybe you're just not feeling engaged in life. Maybe you're feeling bored or listless. Maybe you can't make decisions or you're having a hard time concentrating on things. You might just feel low and sad. Actually sad. It might go to the point where you're feeling like you don't want to live anymore or you're experiencing suicidal ideation. If that is the case, if you've ever considered suicide, I'm going to tell you right now to go call somebody, call your doctor, call a friend, call somebody and tell them that, because there are lots of resources to help you get out of that. But there's all sorts of ways that people can experience SAD, but low mood and all of the things that come along with that. Changes in appetite is another one. It's very possible that your appetite may go down drastically, or it might go up drastically and you're craving different types of foods like starches and sugary things. So there's a whole array of symptoms that can come along with that, but you know you best and you know what you want to measure for your moods. And if your mood is just not feeling great as the seasons change, here is what I want you to do. There are 3 areas that I talk about all the time that are actually going to really help improve symptoms of either seasonal affective disorder or just mood changes as the weather changes. Number 1 is exercise. I cannot express enough how important daily exercise is for mood. I'm talking like as good as medication. Moving every day is critical to helping improve your mood and keeping a consistent mood. Now, you'll notice that I said moving every day. That might mean an hour-long sweat session. It might mean a 15-minute walk, but just physically moving your body every day is the best prevention that you can do to help keep your mood consistent. Now, you'll notice that I say prevention because all of these things I'm going to talk about are things that you could and should be setting up right now while you're still feeling up to it. There is nobody in the world that wants to get out of bed on a cold winter's morning to go do a workout. Not one person. But if it's already part of your habit, your routine, if it's already something that you're consistently doing, you're much more likely to continue doing it. And you're much more likely to stick with it when you know mentally that it makes you feel better. So all of the things that we're talking about today, if you can set them up as habits, as routines now to power through the fall and the winter, it's going to help keep your mood that much more consistent. So exercise every day and make it part of your routine now. Find something that you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be what I want to call work. I mean, challenging yourself is important, but it doesn't have to be something that you hate. It can be something that you like. Make it social if you can. Do something with a friend, but just stick to exercising moving every day is going to help so much in the long run. So number 2 then is food, because what you want to focus on is eating healthy food that makes you feel great. I'm going to leave it there because there aren't really any specific foods that are going to quote, cure SAD or cure depression. There is evidence that walnuts are great for brain health, that fish oil is fantastic for brain health and can help in anxiety and depression. And yes, that is true. You might experiment with some of those. You might try them out, see if they work for you. But really what I say when I say focus on your food is eating food that makes you feel great. Because the food that makes you feel great is going to be what's different for me, what's different for anybody else. And so for most people, it looks like a big focus on vegetables, really good fruit, healthy grains, healthy protein in a reasonable amount that you're not eating too late in the day. You want to be limiting the processed foods, the refined foods, all the sugars, the junk food, not eliminating it entirely, but keeping an eye on it. You can still have it once in a while, but keeping your main focus in your food is the food that is going to make you feel good. And the second part of that actually is meal planning, because again, no one wants to have to make a decision on a cold December evening what they're going to make for supper. Everyone's tired. We're done with the day. I'm over it. But when you have a meal plan in place, that decision is already made for you. Do some planning right now that could potentially carry you through the whole winter if you wanted it to. But when you have a plan in place, it makes staying on track with that eating and focusing on that good food for you much easier. The other thing I'm going to say about food is that, and I already kind of mentioned this, but do watch your sugar and refined carbohydrate intake. I am not ever going to tell you can never eat those, but they tend to be, I'm going to talk pick on sugar here. It tends to be a bit of a perpetual cycle. The more you eat, the more you want. And when we have a diet that is really high in refined sugars, carbohydrates, junk food, whatever you want to call it, we tend to want and eat more of that. And so it's very easy to have that kind of turn into a snowball, and then that becomes our priority diet. So it's not that you can't have it at all. It's that it is a once in a while, occasional thing that always comes back to your focus on your meal planning and eating healthy food that makes you feel incredible. And the third thing I want you to focus on is sleep, because sleep is absolutely something that can be thrown off easily when it comes to changes in mood. Some people it makes them have really significant problems sleeping, like the insomnia, they can't sleep at all. Other people, it makes it they want to sleep all the time, and they do sleep all the time, but they don't feel good when they do. They're still exhausted. And so prioritizing your sleep is one of the best investments you can make into keeping your mood consistent. So step one, go to bed at the same time every night. It's really easy to kind of get off of that, but if you can make that a habit that you keep up consistently, your sleep is going to be of such better quality for a lot of reasons. On the same thing, number 2 is get up at the same time every morning. Keeping that sleeping and waking time consistent is great for your circadian rhythm. It's great for your sleep quality. And honestly, it's great for your energy. If you can, get some light on your eyes, on your face in the morning. So I talk about this a lot. It's a lot easier to do in the summer when the sun is up at 5:30 in the morning. A little harder to do in the winter when the days feel really short. But number 1, you can still go outside. You can still, go outside in the morning when the sun is coming up to get some sun on your face. The other thing though is that you can use other sources of light. So you can use your computer, your phone, your tablet. They all have a lot of blue light in them, which I know we don't want that late at night, but we do want that earlier in the day. That's actually really helpful. So if it means taking off your blue light glasses or taking the blue light filters off of your devices earlier in the morning, that actually can help your circadian rhythm. There's also things you can buy. So you can get lights such as this one, which you can turn on for 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, and it can do the exact same thing as sunlight. Really helpful for a lot of people in the winter. So sticking to that habit consistently is going to help keep your circadian rhythm in check where it's supposed to be, and help keep your sleep where it's supposed to be. The other thing about sleep is making sure you move every day, tying that back into the exercise, because moving every day is an incredible way to help improve your sleep. So I can't really talk about SAD without talking about vitamin D. So vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. It's essential in a whole bunch of things in the body. Our primary source of it is from the sun. UV light hits your skin, does fun little things. All of a sudden, you've got vitamin D in your body. We don't really know if low vitamin D levels cause SAD, but there does seem to be a correlation there. I will say that most people who live in the northern hemisphere where the days get shorter in the winter do have low levels of vitamin D anyway. Getting your vitamin D levels into an optimal range where we want them to be might help your mood symptoms, but it's actually going to help a whole host of other things. It's important for cancer prevention, it's important for immune regulation, it's important for a lot. So if you've never had your vitamin D levels checked, I suggest you head on to your doctor's office where they can run a quick blood test and check your levels of vitamin D, and then you can supplement accordingly. Never supplement without checking your levels, so I'll say that. And also, if you do supplement, go based on the advice of your doctor. They will tell you so the minimum that you should be looking at is about 1,000 IU per day to get it up. Your doctor may tell you a lot more than that, which is fine, totally individual. And my favorite type of supplement for vitamin D is actually one that's a liquid form, because it's the vitamin D already emulsified in fat. So as a fat soluble vitamin, it's delivered in the form of a fat. It's wonderful and easy to absorb. So have your vitamin D levels checked and make sure that they are where you want them to be. My whole point here, though, is that when you are feeling great, when your energy is great and your sleep is great and you're moving regularly and your mood is fantastic, this is the time to get these habits into place. Get your exercise as a habit, get your food, meal planning, prep, grocery shopping, all of that done as a habit. Get your sleep set up as habits, going to bed consistently, getting up consistently. When you set those up as habits while you're feeling great, they're far more likely to stick when you're not feeling great, because we all go through phases where we're not feeling great. Let me know if you need any resources for any of these things, if you need any help. And if sleep is a really big challenge for you, I'm going to suggest you head on over and book a sleep assessment call with me. This is a 45-minute call where we can just talk about your sleep and really understand what is going on with you, what are the challenges that you're facing in your sleep, and where should you start to focus on. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.